Alright, it's a new day. Now that those RNG games are finally over with, wonder what's the latest thing Roblox is pushing nowadays. Huh? Why are all these games so poorly rated? Surely it can't get worse, right? I mean, it can't get worse to the point where I have to make a video on it, right? On Roblox, there are countless great games that showcase real effort and are beloved by many players. However, on the flip side, there are also games that fall short and end up with a flood of negative reviews. Today, I'll be diving into 8 poorly rated recommended games from the Recommended For You section of my Roblox page to see if they are any good. Are any of these hidden gems waiting to be discovered, or will they live up to their infamous reputations? There is only one way to find out. The first game we're diving into today is Better Country, which has a 46% approval rating. Right from the start, the game hits you with a quick disclaimer. It's not meant to be political or represent real-life conflicts in any way. Instead, it's designed to be a fun geography game. So, if that's the case, I can't help but wonder what might be so controversial about it. As expected, the game includes standard features like leaderboards. But hold on a second, why is the VIP Pass logo just an AI-generated image of Luigi? Of all things, they chose that? Honestly, they could have gone with a simple VIP text on a background with some outlines, and it would have been just fine. But hey, whatever floats their boat. In Better Country, you are given a choice between 2 countries. In my case, I had Tuvalu and Bolivia to choose from. I went with Tuvalu and faced off against players representing Bolivia. Unfortunately, I lost in the first round, but honestly, it wasn't a big deal. In the second round, I picked the Mexico team, and surprisingly, there were a lot of people on my side. That led to me winning against the players who chose the Sweden team. And then the cycle repeats. This game kind of reminds me of another game I tried out before, though I can't remember which one. With that out of the way, let's see what the next one's all about. Next up on the list is Obby But You're a Ball, which has 35% likes. As the title suggests, this is a Roblox obby where you play as a ball. Doesn't sound too bad, right? Well, sorry to break it to you, but this game isn't exactly a walk in the park when it comes to difficulty. First, there's a difficulty chart that goes from bottom to top. Tutorial to easy, easy, medium, challenging, difficult, hard, intense, master, hell, nightmare, and finally, impossible. Probably the real test of patience. One thing I have to mention is the second top donator's avatar, which has the word autistic written on it with an arrow pointing towards them. At first, I thought it was a joke, but then I realized it's just Roblox UGC. Goodness, Roblox UGC just keeps getting weirder and weirder. Anyway, as expected, the beginner stages like the tutorial and easy levels are a breeze to get through. Heck, even a 5-year-old could clear them with their eyes closed. But things get a little more challenging around the medium stages. And yes, I know, I can already hear the complaints. How did you find the medium stages hard? Well, look, I just didn't have the determination to push through. Plus, if I were to finish the whole game, we'd be here all day. And then I got stuck around the medium stage, and that's where my journey ended. Welcome to SPRUNKI'S Prison Run obby with 31% likes. Yeah, it's exactly what you think it is. Barry's Prison Run with Sprunky characters added to the mix for flavor. All jokes aside, this is literally just Barry's Prison Run. Same gameplay, same everything, just with Sprunky characters. And that's pretty much it. Up next is Obby Race, boasting a mere 26% approval rating. This game blends the classic elements of an obby with the adrenaline of a race. Picture a fusion of parkour and speedruns, and that's essentially Obby Race in a nutshell. Now, you might wonder, why the sour reception? Considering it's an obby game, the most likely culprits behind the dislikes are frustrated players who found it too challenging or simply didn't enjoy the experience. After all, difficult obby games often attract a storm of thumbs down from those who don't make the cut. As someone who is decent at Juke's Towers of Hell, I've sharpened my obby skills to a fine edge, so naturally the beginner stages felt like a stroll through the park. Nothing here tested my patience in the way more advanced obbies might. The game offers a handful of modes to spice things up. Regular mode, head hitter mode, and a festive Christmas event mode. While these options add a touch of variety, they are fairly standard fare and don't exactly reinvent the wheel. In the end, I can only speculate that the main source of dislikes stems from the difficulty curve. For players who, without polished obby skills, frustration may have overshadowed the fun. But for those up to the challenge, there's still some enjoyment to be had in Obby Race. Next up on the list is Logo Quiz, clocking in at just 35% approval. The premise is as straightforward as it gets. It's a quiz game where you guess popular logos. The beginner segments are a breeze, showcasing familiar icons like TikTok, YouTube, McDonald's, and Minecraft. You get the picture. However, as the game dragged on, I couldn't shake the feeling that the end wouldn't justify the effort. Fortunately, I had some teammates with me, and their camaraderie kept me motivated enough to see it through to the end. I'll spare you the play-by-play. We'd be here all day if I went through everything. When we finally reached the finish line, the conclusion was underwhelming. The final stretch included more obvious logos like Oreo, Vans, KFC, and an Among Us character as the grand finale. A bit odd, but hey, if it works, it works. After stepping through the white portal at the end, we were teleported back to the start. And the reward for our efforts? Absolutely nothing. No exclusive items, no badges, nothing to show for all that time spent. Just a pat on the back and a congratulations from the game. Honestly, it's not hard to see why this game has garnered so many dislikes. It's excessively long, and the lack of any meaningful payoff makes the whole experience feel hollow. There are other quizzes in the game, but considering how unrewarding this one was, I'd say they're not worth the time or effort either. Welcome to Guess the Geography, a quiz game with a modest 38% approval rating. As the name suggests, it's all about testing your knowledge of geography, a pretty standard premise for a quiz game. The beginner segments were smooth sailing, much like in Logo Quiz. However, things started to heat up around questions 24 to 30. That's where I hit a bit of a wall, and had to rely on Google to bail me out. Admittedly, geography has never been my strong suit, so no surprises there. Feel free to skip the reminders. By the time I reached questions 35 to 40, burnout had officially set in. With my determination running on fumes, I found myself completely stumped and couldn't muster the energy to push forward. In the end, it's a game that's as challenging as your geography knowledge allows it to be. For me, the combination of difficulty and fatigue made it tough to enjoy, let alone complete. Next up is Joyful Markiplier's Jolly Obby? What kind of game is this? And who on earth thought this would be a groundbreaking idea? Well, this one speaks for itself. It's a joyful and jolly obby, starring the one and only Markiplier. But there's a twist, and it's not a fun one. This game does something downright infuriating. It literally bombards your screen with a gazillion, quadrillion pop-ups. And the worst part? You can't get rid of them unless you pay. That's right, you're practically locked out of playing unless you cough up some Robux. If you're short on cash, well guess what? you just can't play. Simple as that in joyful Markiplier's jolly obby. So I decided to bite the bullet and pay the 3 Robux since I still had a bit of change left. But guess what? That did nothing. The pop-ups were still there, taunting me like a never-ending circus of ads. I can see why this game got so many dislikes. Welcome to Dangerous Truck Driving, a game that lives up to its name. The premise is simple. You drive a truck through perilous terrains, and the experience is as chaotic as it sounds. While you can purchase additional vehicles, most of them cost Robux, and unless they offer some significant advantage, it's hard to justify the expense. For my run, I opted for the India truck since it was the only free option available. One major frustration I encountered was the unstuck feature requiring payment. Seriously, why should a basic functionality like freeing your vehicle cost money? It's downright baffling. To add to the chaos, rolling your truck back onto its wheels also demands payment. These paywalls feel like unnecessary hurdles that detract from the game's enjoyment. Since I refused to pay for these basic features, I had to rely on resetting to get back into the action. While it's not the end of the world, the lack of free options for resolving simple issues like getting stuck is a glaring design flaw. Imagine encountering a bug simply getting wedged in a tricky spot. Without the funds for these features, your only recourse is to reset and start over. It's an infuriating system that feels like a cash grab. Despite these setbacks, I managed to reach somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 studs before burning out. The game does allow you to pay for the option to resume progress after a failure, but that's not something I'm willing to shell out for, even if I could. Overall, the difficulty combined with the monetization of basic features likely explains why this game has garnered a significant number of dislikes. While it has potential, the pay-to-progress mechanics seriously undermine the experience. Well, we've finally reached the end. So, what did we learn from exploring all those terribly rated recommended games? Aside from the obvious takeaways, yes, they're boring, bad, and not worth playing, most of the games I selected fell into a few clear categories. They were either excessively challenging, poorly designed, overloaded with monetization, or just outright bad. It's possible some of these games were victims of dislike botting, which might explain why Roblox recommends them. Who knows? But in the end, it's no surprise that many of these games earned their low ratings. So, with that said, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.